Good morning, everyone. Today is April the 12th, and I'm currently walking the C&O Canal down in Maryland. And I just started walking. My car is just right there. And I already found my first herp of the day on the side of the trail. Just a nice eastern painted turtle. So I'm going to take a couple photos of this guy. Kind of got a chipped shell. I didn't even notice that. A little bit of chipped shell underneath. But I'm going to take a couple photos of this guy, and then I'm just going to let him go back where I found him. I think he's going from the canal from this side over to behind me where there's a marsh. So I'm probably going to move him across the trail in the way that he was heading. And we're going to keep hiking in this habitat and see what else we can find today. Next herp of the day is another eastern painted turtle. I think I'm up to 11 species of herps right now. And I've probably only walked maybe a quarter mile from the last turtle. But most of them are frog species, a few more turtle species. Stuff's really hard to catch walking along this canal. Everything jumps into this water, and then it's almost impossible to see where they went. But I'll keep updating you guys throughout the day, and hopefully we get catching some more species. Next herp of the day is this absolutely adorable little eastern painted turtle. I already shown you a couple of these guys. This might be the last one I show you since I've really caught them at all age classes now. So I'm going to start focusing on hopefully showing you guys some more species if I can catch some more. But I'm going to take a quick photo of this little guy, and then I'm just going to return him right back into the canal. So species number 2 is just a green frog. I think I've only shown you these guys once in a different video. I think there's a turkey. Just landed. That was kind of cool. But I showed you guys in the last video one of these guys, but I've probably seen a few hundred today walking this canal. But this was the first guy I was actually able to get hands on. But I already took some photos, so I'm just going to release them right here. And we're gonna keep on herping. So species number 3 for the day that I've been able to catch is just the adult stage of the eastern newt. Also the subspecies called red spotted newt. I know in a couple of my videos I interchanged the name of them a lot, call them both. But I'm gonna take a little documentation shot of this guy, and then I'm just gonna let him go right back into the water. All right, guys, well, I have already seen 3 water snakes that got away from me. So I decided to get out my GoPro for the first time ever. So this is actually, I've had it for 2 years, but this is the first time I've ever put it to use. So I'm gonna fool around with it a little bit today and maybe be able to get some clips of some species if I don't get to catch them for you guys. But it'll fool around, so if you see any GoPro shots, that means I did good today. Next herp species of the day is a female common 5-line skink that currently will not let go of my finger. And these guys actually have a pretty significant bite force. It doesn't really hurt all that bad, but they definitely have a little bit of pressure behind those jaws. So I'm gonna get this guy or girl unattached from me, and I'm gonna let her go back on this rock face where I just caught her, and I'm gonna start working my way back to the car, and hopefully we get to find more species. All right, I got this girl unattached from me, so I'm just gonna let her go right here. There she goes. Just spotted the next species for the day. I've already seen 2 of these guys, but this one I certainly can get closer to. It's a big common snapping turtle laying right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk down there and see if I can grab that guy, which I think should be relatively easy. All right, so here's a better look at this common snapping turtle. Hasn't even moved a muscle as I moved my way down that slope. So I'm not gonna bother this guy at all. I'm not gonna hold him or anything. So I'm just gonna get back up on the trail, and we're gonna keep on hiking, and hopefully we find some more species. Just spotted the next herp of the day. That's probably going to get away. I hope you guys can see him, but there's a big snapping turtle swimming away right now. Don't feel like walking in there currently, so I'm just going to let him go on his way. And I'm going to keep on hiking and hopefully find some more herps. Next species of the day is actually a very good one for this area. This is a northern cricket frog, which is actually, I think this is only the second time I've ever found them in this county before. I switched locations just a minute ago. I'm really not that far from my last location at all. But there's a lot of these little guys hopping through here, which is kind of interesting because I've been to this spot before and I've never seen these guys here. So kind of a really cool find for me. But I'm going to take a couple shots of this dude and I'm going to let him go. And I'm just going to walk through here a little bit and see if I can find any more species. New species for today. This is a juvenile valley and ridge salamander that I just flipped underneath a log. I don't think I've ever shown you this species before on this channel, so this is a pretty interesting find for me. I usually see them around in the region that I'm in today, but this is actually the first baby that I've ever seen before, which is really cool. So I'm gonna snap a quick photo of this guy and then I'm gonna keep walking through this habitat. I changed locations again. I'm currently on a shell barren right now, looking for some lizards and maybe some snakes. But I will let you guys know if I find anything else. Hello everyone, it is the next day. Yesterday was actually a very productive day. I ended up getting seeing / hearing 15 species of herps yesterday, but unfortunately did not get a lot on video for you guys. But today I'm in my home county up in far western Maryland, and it's currently about 70 degrees, which is probably the first very good day to find some herps. So I'm gonna get to hiking and see what I find. Just flipped the first herp of the day, which is a big eastern redback salamander. This is actually a rather large adult, but I'm gonna take a quick picture of him and I'm gonna take him out from underneath his rock, put his rock back and let him crawl back underneath. And we're gonna keep on herping today and hopefully we can get some snakes out on the crawl. Next herp of the day is a gigantic northern slimy salamander. This is my first one of the year. Still no snakes yet today, which is actually quite surprising, but I'm pretty satisfied with this dude, so I'm just going to take a quick photo of him and let him go right back underneath his rock. Just spotted the first rattlesnake of 2022. You can tell maybe this guy is a little bit muddy looking on the face. You see how white his head is. That's just straight mud. But he's in that thicket and I don't think I'm going to get any closer to him. So I'm just going to leave him be and I'm going to keep searching around and see if any more snakes are out today. Just spotted rattlesnake number 2 for the day, right here rattling at me. That's cool. He's probably gonna go back into his rock. Actually, there's the second one right there. The rattlesnake number 3 for the day. It's so cool. These guys are by far my favorite type of snake. These are timber rattlesnakes in my area. So cool to finally see them out for the year. But I'm gonna leave them alone. They're in that thick brush. I'm not gonna disturb them at all. I'm gonna just back out of here, check a few more spots and see if I can find any more basking today. Here's a better look at this second one that I just spotted. That was with that first one. First one's right there. Looking at a better angle, this one is really, really pretty. Nice. I wish they weren't obscured by this brush. I'd probably be able to get a nice photo of her. But as I said, I'm just going to back away from here right now and keep looking for more. Alright, so I just noticed there is actually a third snake at this spot. That yellow timber that I just showed you was right there, but she moved in underneath that rock. But I don't know how well you guys can tell through this brush, but there's a real dark one that's halfway under this rock, and then there is a lighter one up top of it, kind of laying on each other. From the angle that I had from above, it just looked like all one snake, but there is definitely in fact two snakes here. 3 in total, including that yellow that just went underneath the rock, and then 4 being the one that we saw a little bit earlier. So that's really cool. But I think I've picked out all the snakes that are in this brush right now. Hopefully I picked out all the snakes in this brush. They're kind of hard to see. They blend in so well this time of year with all this brown leaves on the ground. But I'm gonna back out of here and hopefully we find some more. All right, so the next snake of the day is actually my second garter snake of the year. Just saw this guy basking out on the rock. And so I decided to grab him real quick just because I've only seen one this year so far. But cool to see that more snakes around. I'm actually surprised that I found timber rattlesnakes before I actually saw one of these guys today. I kind of figured I'd see one of these first crawling around. But really cool. Glad that snakes are finally out here in the mountains of Maryland. But I'm going to take a quick photo of this guy, and then I'm just going to release him back in his rock pile. All right, so I'm just going to release this guy right here, and then we're going to keep on herping. All right, guys, so the next herp of the day is a common snapping turtle found out on the crawl. But I'm just going to leave this guy where he is, and we're going to keep herping a little bit more today, maybe a little bit this evening, and see what else we can find. All right, guys, so it is now evening. It's around 9 o'clock right now. We have a small chance of rain in the forecast. It's about to start in the next hour or so. So I'm going to start cruising a little bit, hoping that there's some herps walking along the roads tonight, crossing the roads tonight. Just don't have enough footage for a full video, I don't think yet. So I'm going to go out, which I'm actually surprised I don't have enough footage yet, because I feel like the last 2 days I've been seeing so many herps, just I haven't been able to get a lot of footage of them. So I'm going to go out and hopefully round out the night with a few more herps to close out this video. So I will let you guys know what I find. The first herp of the night that I was actually able to stop for is a nice American toad. This is probably actually the 10th one I've seen so far cruising around tonight. But every single one was right in front of somebody's house, which I always feel super awkward stopping in front of somebody's house at nighttime. So I'm just gonna get this guy off the road real quick, take a quick little photo, and I'm gonna keep on cruising. I'm gonna start making my way back home. It's been rather slow night so far. It just hasn't rained, and I have a feeling that it's probably not going to rain. So I'll just update you guys if I see anything else on the way home. Look at this dude out for a crawl. What is he doing out on a dry night like this? This is a nice adult northern red salamander making his way across the road. So I'm probably gonna help him across. I think he's trying to make it through this ditch on the other side of the road, but he looks pretty dried out. So I'm gonna take a quick shot of him and help him cross the road, and we're gonna keep on cruising. Well, just let that red salamander go. And right next to where I parked, didn't even notice this guy when I got out of the car. Just an American toad laying here. What you doing, buddy? Well, I'm just gonna take this guy, move him off the road, just in case another car comes by. All right, so next herp, which is just a little ways up the road, is a nice green frog. Cool, another common species that can be seen in this county. But gonna help him off the road after a quick picture, and we're gonna keep on cruising, which I'm very surprised that I'm starting to see some herps on the road just by how dry it is, but definitely not complaining. Just spotted the next herp of the day, which is a younger looking green frog. And there's actually right there, it's the aquatic larvae of what looks to be, I'd probably say that's a northern red salamander larvae. It's actually relatively big. The only other thing it would be is a spring salamander, but this is much better habitat for a northern red. But that's pretty cool, just in this roadside ditch. So we're gonna keep working our way up the road. I'm currently walking this ditch line right now just to see if there's anything in the water. But hopefully there's some more species out tonight. I'm hearing spring peepers, and 1 or 2 wood frogs are still going for it tonight, calling. But I will let you guys know if I find anything else. Next find of the night is a upland burrowing crayfish out for a crawl. This is kind of interesting. I never really see these guys far. Well, he's not far away from water, but I never really see these guys anywhere dry. But that's super cool. If you saw my last video, I talked a little bit about these guys. But this guy's not as pretty, but these guys are definitely the prettiest crayfish species that we have here. But you can kind of see the lighting a little bit better. These guys can get pretty dang orange. This one's pretty dull, but I'm gonna move them back into the ditch, get them off this road. That way nobody runs over them. And we're gonna keep on looking for more herps. There's another one out for a crawl. What are these guys doing tonight? This one looks a little bit more pretty than the last one. That's super odd that they're out on such a dry night. Don't really know what they're doing away from their water. But this guy's got off the road just as I was coming by, so just gonna leave him here and let him do his thing. All right, so the next find of the night is this 4-toed salamander making his way across the road. I just find it very interesting how so much moving with how dry it is, but certainly not complaining. I guess the breeding season is in full swing for a lot of these amphibian species, so I guess they are moving regardless. But I'm gonna make sure this, what I think is a female, she's pretty chunky, make sure this female gets off the road in the way that she is heading, and we're gonna start making our way home. Almost done with the good habitat on this road, but hopefully we can find a species or 2 more. Look at this little dude. This is a 4-toed salamander that is missing basically all of its tail. You can tell he's got a stump, and then he's got that little tail coming out from it. So you can tell he lost his tail at one point, and he's starting to grow it back. But that is a goofy looking 4-toed, and he is tiny. I mean, he's tiny to begin with, without losing his tail. But that is an interesting looking 4-toed. But make sure he gets off the road, and I'm gonna keep on cruising. All right, guys, so I just made it back home. Overall, not a terrible evening. Definitely wasn't as productive as I was hoping it would be. But couldn't complain about seeing a red salamander. But this will be the end of the video today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.